about the theories of business cycle. Is it okay now?
Ma'am, somehow not
Still,
very
it's
much.
buffering.
Let us see if this is clear now.
Yes, ma'am.
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 Right. Okay. So we will talk about the monetary theory of business cycle. And this, according to this theory or according to R.G. Hatteras, business cycle is a purely monetary phenomenon. This is a very famous statement. Business cycle. Sometimes in your exam, the question comes like this only. Business cycle is a purely monetary phenomena. Please explain. Okay, now what is this statement signifying, or what it is explaining? It is saying that it is the money supply and credit money which creates upswings and downswings. In the economic activity. So there are two important factors, money supply. Right? Is it? Yes, Chandan, what happened? Talking about money supply in your second paper, not the third paper, is equal to C plus DD plus OD.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you define money as cash in circulation or currency in circulation, that is C. DD is the demand deposits, that is the money created by the banks over and above the initial deposit, and then other deposits with the Reserve Bank of India or the commercial banks. So this is one way of defining money. So Hatteras says that as the money supply increases, with the increase in money supply, cash in circulation will increase, currency in circulation will increase, at the same time demand deposits will increase. Because of this, there will be a reduction in interest rate. So that's how the mechanism works. As the money supply in the economy goes up, interest rate comes down. Interest rate is the cost of borrowing or cost of taking loans. So as the loans become cheaper, right, people borrow more. We are saying people borrow more means consumers also take loans. Traders, producers, everyone finds it convenient to take loan because the cost of borrowing is decreasing or the loans are becoming cheaper, right? So as the borrowing increases, it leads to more and more economic activity or higher level of economic activities in the economy. Or you can simply say that as the money supply increases, the aggregate demand increases, the expenditure in the economy increases. Now with this, the economic activities move in the upward direction. And Hartre says that it is very difficult to control money supply. It is very difficult to keep the money supply stable. So as the money supply keeps on increasing or decreasing, or as it keeps on changing, business cycles are created. And it is not only the money supply, but they say that it is the credit money also. As the credit money increases in the economy, the business cycles will take place. Now see, we know this, MV is equal to PT, right? This is the transactions approach, Fisher's approach of money supply, basic theory for money supply. Now, can someone tell me that what do you mean by V in this equation?
Velocity of money.
Okay, velocity of money. Can someone explain that? What do you mean by velocity?
Ma'am, how many times the currency changes
Changes ownership.
Changes?
Ownership, ma'am.
Ownership. Okay. Can you explain it a bit? What do you mean by it actually?
Ma'am, a number of times a unit of currency is used for transactions.
Right, very right. Give me some example to explain this.
Ma'am, like a 2000 rupee note is transferred to 10 people in an hour, so the velocity will be 10.
Why it is transferred to other people?
And for different uses, like I have to buy some
For
goods
exchange.
from
Exactly.
a shop, then I will give him rupees,
Right.
and then he has to buy something, he will give to someone else.
Right, very right. So now what is happening, as you can see, that as the money is exchanging the hands more and more, or as the frequency of changing the currency, one unit of currency increases, economic activities are rising. So according to the monetary theory of business cycle, it is either M or either V. Even if the money supply remains constant, if the V increases in the system, if the V increases in the economy, people are using money more and more. Many times they are using the same unit of money to make the transactions, and therefore economic activities expand. Similarly, with MV is equal to PT, we have also seen MV plus M dash V dash is equal to PT. Now this is your money supply. MV dash M dash V dash is the credit money. Now, credit money is again in form of borrowing only, right? This is the money created on the basis of the basic money. So as the credit money goes up in the economy, this again creates economic activities, more investment, more expenditure, more consumer expenditure. If expenditure is rising, if consumption is rising, production has to go up. So if production is going up, employment will go up. If employment is going up, wages will go up. At the same time, prices will go up, profit will go up. So when you say that expansion because of the money supply, so it will lead to higher expenditure, investment, employment, income, prices, profit. So therefore, you can see that during the expansion phase of the business cycle, all the economic variables are moving in the upward direction. And if they are continuously moving for a longer time period, it will create a boom, right? Expansion will lead to prosperity, and prosperity will create a boom in the economy. Boom is the upper turning point for the business cycle. Okay, the economy is moving up. This is the trend, and the economy is moving up. It is going up, right? It has reached the peak because these factors are continuously rising. So if money supply and credit money can create expansion, at the same time, it can create contraction also. Because as the money supply or the credit money is becoming too high or too large for the economy, gradually banks will start taking back the loans. Because there is too much of loan in the economy. So now banks also want some money back to lend to someone else. So therefore, as the money will contract, as the money starts contracting, now this will create a domino type of effect. Domino effect is something when the effect is accumulated upon the base factor. So you increase the money supply, and this increasing money supply will increase even further. And you decrease the money supply, so this decrease in money supply will decrease the economic activities further. And that is the domino effect. Okay, so this business cycle, monetary business cycle theory believes that it is the money supply or it is the credit money which brings economic cycles in the economy. Now, in this, according to this theory, or in this theory, credit, loan, expenditure, then banking system, all have an important role to play. As these activities are developed, as the banking system develops in the economy, as it is modernized, you find that credit money is more available. Maybe money supply is not increasing, maybe RBI is controlling the new printing of money, but at the same time, credit money is expanding in the economy. So therefore, there will be more economic activities, higher level of economic activities, and that's why it will create business cycle. So when there is expansion, when there is prosperity, when there is boom, will lead to inflation. When there is contraction, it will lead to deflation. Now this inflation will always create high employment, and this deflation will create unemployment. So that's how the business cycles will keep on occurring in the economy due to the money supply. Is it okay? Are you able to understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, there are several economists who have criticized this theory, and among them Milton Friedman is one of the most important economists. So Milton Friedman says that money supply is the most important variable for the economy, not the expenditure or the aggregate demand. On the contrary, if you are talking about Keynes will always emphasize upon aggregate demand. According to Keynes, it is only aggregate demand which creates a higher level of income and output in the economy. But Milton Friedman says that it is only the money supply which is the most important variable for the economy. Now, there is one more thing which you must be remembering from your previous classes, that according to classicals, according to the classical system, according to the classical economist, that means Adam Smith, Ricardo, Marshall, Malthus, J.S. Mill, business cycles are not possible or are not real. Why? Because there is always full employment. So when there is full employment in the economy, there is no scope for business cycles to be created. Because business cycles can be created only if there is a scope for expanding the production and expenditure. But because the economy is already operating at the full employment level, so there will be no business cycles which are created. It was only Keynes who was talking about short run and increase in the economic activities in the short run. So with Keynes, we were analyzing the business cycles more. So therefore, definitely business cycles are the short run fluctuations. But R.G. Hartre was not considering business cycles as the short run fluctuations, because he was emphasizing that money supply will keep on expanding and contracting in the economy, and therefore business cycles will keep on occurring in the economy, whether it is short run or whether it is long run. But these economists like Milton Friedman, Keynes, and others, they were of the view that business cycles can be created only in the short run, not in the long run. Okay, so are you able to understand the expansion and contraction due to the money supply?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the contraction clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday someone was asking the question. So is it okay?
Ma'am, how expansion will lead to inflation?
See, expansion means what? Expansion means higher demand, higher expenditure. Now, when you say higher demand and higher expenditure, this is applicable for both consumer goods capital goods. Factors of production. So all will increase, right? During the expansion time period, all will increase. Now, when all are rising, when demand for consumer goods is rising, then you know that prices will increase. If you demand more and more of, say, diesel and petrol, the price will go up. If you demand more and more of vegetables, the price will go up. As the demand rises, prices go up for every commodity you know. As the demand for data packs are rising, the prices of data packs are also rising over the time period. So with every increase in demand for consumer goods, prices will rise. At the same time, in order to produce more and more of consumer goods, you need machines, you need equipments, you need factories. So demand for capital goods will also rise. At the same time, you will need factors of production, that is labor organization. Now, you need more and more borrowing to invest. So with all these things, prices and cost both will rise. Prices and cost both will increase. And if they are increasing, then it will lead to inflation, because inflation is consistent rise in price. So if they are continuously rising over the time period, then there will be inflation. Or why they will rise? Because expansion is continuing for a longer time period. It is not only 1 day or 1 month, but it is continuously rising. Like even say, take the example of the last 2 years for your economy, demand is continuously rising, irrespective of what type of demand is rising, whether it is medicines, whether it is food, whether it is consumable, different consumable items or fast moving consumer goods, the demand is rising. So if the demand is rising, prices will go up. And why this is rising? Because according to R.G. Hatre, maybe money supply is rising. So people have more money in hand. When people have more money in hand, they will spend more. They will borrow more. Because banks are not taking back the money. As the moment the banks will start taking back the loans, or they will increase the interest rate, there will be a contraction. In all this, what we are talking in expansion, the same will taking place in the reverse direction when it is contraction. Bank money is reducing, money supply is reducing, interest rate is going up, demand is going down, expenditure is decreasing, prices are decreasing, profits are decreasing. Therefore, there will be contraction. Maybe there is a bit of difference between cascading and domino when you use the terms. Cascading is escalation of cost or compounding of cost, right? So generally when we talk about cascading effect, we talk about the taxes. So when you impose taxes, the cost of production goes up, and that is a cascading effect. When here we are talking about dominoes effect, it is just like you have made something like this. Everything is on top of everything else. Okay. So the moment one thing will fall, the other thing will also fall. Like this. Right? So if you apply force somewhere at any point in this whole figure, everything will come down. Everything will start falling. So that is the idea of dominoes effect. And cascading effect is more related to taxes. Is it okay now? Do you want to ask anything?
Ma'am,
Yes.
can we say only demand for consumer goods are responsible for inflation?
No. You have to remember every time that if there is more demand for consumer goods, how the supply will come of these consumer goods. If there is no supply, only prices will go up, and only prices going up is not business cycle. Right? Understand this, that business cycle means expansion of all economic activities, not only prices. Only price moving up is just inflation. Inflation is one associated event with the business cycle. Business cycle is a broader event, and inflation is the component of this broader event. So it is not only consumer goods, but it is all associated with demand. It is consumer goods, it is capital goods, it is factors of production, all together. Because in the macroeconomy, all variables are integrated with each other. Right? There is no variable which works in separation. Now, in this theory, what you are observing is that finally, what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that it is the money supply or the credit money cycle. So money supply or credit money expands, business cycle also expands. If the money supply or credit money contracts, the business cycle also have a contraction phase. But somewhere in the back or behind of this argument, you will observe that why money supply is used or why credit money is used more and more in the economy. Who is using this money supply? Who is demanding this money supply? So maybe with the expansion of banking system, it is the entrepreneurs or the investors who will drive the economic activities. So it is not the money supply or credit money alone, but entrepreneurs will play an important role. Entrepreneurs can be new business ventures, new investors, new firms, investing in different type of activities, because this will lead to more employment, this will lead to more wages, this will lead to more income, more earning, then more expenditure again. So maybe according to Schumpeter, it is not the money supply, but it is the entrepreneurs who will create business cycles. If there are no entrepreneurs in the economy and you keep on expanding the money supply, there will be no business cycle, or there will be only deflation in the economy, because too much of money supply will not create any advantage for the economy. So there are different economists who have different views upon this theory, but still this theory remains till date one of the most important theory, because it is based on MV is equal to PT. And in this theory, these two factors are very important. If you remember in your MV is equal to PT theory, the assumption is that velocity of money remains constant. But according to R.G. Hutray, velocity of money does not remain constant in any of the economy. So M and V both are the driving force behind the business cycle, or they create business cycle. As the V contracts, business cycle contracts. As the velocity of money goes down, why the velocity of money goes down? Any answer?
Ma'am, when money supply decreases.
No. When money supply decreases, actually velocity should go up.
मैम लो एग्रीगेट डिमांड।
मैम जब होल्डिंग्स होने लगेंगी तो
Exactly. जब holdings होने लगेंगी, holdings means what? In your economic terminology, it is the savings. If people start saving more, so if the saving rises, then we will decrease because people are spending money less. So as the saving rises, we decreases. Because now money is kept in banks, or money is kept as fixed deposit, or they are invested in some other bonds or securities or some financial instruments. So every time, if the money and velocity of money together, not only money supply, not only velocity, but if both are at the same time rising, then it will create expansion. If they are decreasing, then it will create contraction in the economy. So now there is another economist at that time only. And this R.G. Hutray was a British economist, right? Von Hayek, an Australian economist. What he is saying? He is saying it is the overinvestment or underinvestment, not the money supply, but it is overinvestment or underinvestment. Which creates business cycle. So if the investment is rising in the economy, business cycles will have expansion and prosperity and boom. If the investment is decreasing, there will be contraction, recession, and if it continues to be there, it will create depression. So rest of the things remains the same for these two theories. Suppose you say overinvestment or investment is rising. So investment rising means, you remember you have always defined your aggregate demand as C plus I plus G. So in this, I is rising. G, for the time period, we are assuming that there is no government per se, no active government. So it is only I is rising. So if I is rising, aggregate demand will rise. Aggregate demand will rise, so it will create more demand for capital goods also, for factors of production also. Now again the same thing will happen. With more and more investment, that means there are more funds available in the economy. Because how the investment will take place? There has to be capital also behind this investment. So that means in some way or the other, there is money supply which is increasing in the economy. So with the expansion in money supply, with the expansion in credit money, investment will rise. And as the investment will rise, aggregate demand and all other factors, including prices and cost, will rise, and therefore there will be expansion. But there is a limit to this expansion because investment is rising, and it will reach a stage where there is no new demand in the economy. People don't want new goods. So as the demand becomes stable, or as the demand becomes constant, or as people are satiated more and more, the investment will stop in the economy. As the investment will stop, gradually the system will start moving down because there is no investment, there is no new business. So banks will ask their money back. In order to pay their money back, these investors or these borrowers, they have to sell their assets. As they are selling their assets, the prices will go down in the market because there is more and more of inventory will increase and distress sale will increase. Now, both of these two things in the economy will lead to contraction. So according to von Hayek, it is the investment which creates business cycle, whether it is expansion or contraction. According to Hartree, it is the money supply which creates business cycle, expansion or contraction. Rest of the argument remains the same for both the theories. The only thing is that what is the major factor reason behind business cycle. Now tell me if you have any question.
How distress sell leads to contraction?
If you are familiar a bit with real estate or housing market, you will observe that suppose there are no new buyers in the market and the people who are holding the land or the houses, they need money. Why they need money? Maybe because they want to pay back their loans to the banks. So they want to sell somehow. There is already no demand in the market, but you have to sell. So when you have to sell at a low price. So this is distress sale. Distress sale means when you are in need of money and there is no demand in the market, but irrespective of the demand, you have to sell. So this sale in the economy, and this is widespread because we are talking about the macro economy. It is not only one city or one person, but across the economies, it is the same thing which is taking place. So that's how it will lead to deflation because the prices will keep on going down. If you remember, if you have read the newspaper, when there was, when the number of deaths were increasing in the Western countries in 2020, you might have observed that the prices of houses in UK or European countries was going down at a very fast pace. Even in India also, the prices of land and the prices of houses have come down. So this is a contraction because investment is not taking place. When you say investment, it is not investment in factories. It is investment in land and building also. So that will create contraction in the economy, deflation in the economy. Contraction and deflation are together. Inflation and expansion are together. Okay?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Anyone else has a question? Now we are left with only one theory, that is the innovation theory of Schumpeter. So we'll talk about it in the next class maybe. You can take your time. If you have any question, you can say that. Or yesterday someone was talking about the sunspot theory. Do you want to tell something about that to the class?
मैम सन स्पॉट थ्योरी इज मैम जहाँ पे सरफेस पे सन की स्पॉट पड़ रही है वहां पे मैम क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशन चेंज होगी. अगर क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशन चेंज होगी तो इट विल लीड्स टू एग्रीकल्चरल आउटपुट, उसमें चेंज आएगा मैम. उससे डिमांड चेंज होगी तो फिर आउटपुट चेंज होगा मैम. इससे फिर इन्वेस्टमेंट भी, इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर भी थोड़ा सा चेंज हो जाएगा.
Okay. Yes, so you everywhere you see that one type of expansion or expansion in one sector creates expansion for other sectors also. If there is an upward trend in the agricultural sector, it will provide more inputs for the industrial sector, and the agro-based industries will grow. As the agro-based industries will grow, there will be more demand for capital goods and machineries. So rest of the industries will also grow, and gradually you will see that demand rises. So that's how we are calling it as a domino effect. When demand in one sector increases, it leads to demand in other sectors. When demand in one sector decreases, it leads to contraction in other sectors also. So agriculture creates a positive effect for industrial expansion. Industrial expansion creates a positive factor for service sector expansion, and the other way around, or the vice versa thing is also right. So even in those years when these people were talking about business cycle, they were not thinking about agricultural activities or the service sector, but behind their argument, everything was there. They were talking about how demand will lead to production, production will lead to higher prices, and prices will lead to expansion or boom in the economy. And as the demand goes down, production goes down, output goes down. So demand for factors goes down, cost goes down, profit goes down. That's how. I hope there is no other question. So we'll end the class. We'll meet next Monday.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
नाज़नीन, हाँ ये इन्वेंटरी का मतलब था, इन्वेंटरी जो